So one of the best accessories that I've come across for any iPad has been the Logitech line of cases, especially the keyboard cases, and especially, even more especially, the Combo Touch cases. And now Logitech has released the Combo Touch for the new 10th generation iPad. So let's go ahead and take a look at this brand new case for the iPad. Like I said, Logitech's been making these Combo Touches for the last couple of years for the iPad Air, the iPad Pro, both the 11-inch and the 12.9 inch, and even the 10.2 inch iPad, just regular, like the 9th gen iPad and 8th gen. At this point, this is a familiar design, right? You got the kickstand and you have the detachable keyboard. So it's very similar to Apple's new Magic Keyboard Folio for the 10th generation iPad, but we're not gonna compare these two specifically in this video. I will get to that in another video, but I really do love the detachable keyboard idea. Now, when it comes to the kickstand idea, it's just generally not my favorite, but Logitech really does do it right. So let's just go ahead and open this guy up and see what you get inside the box. And right away, the first thing that you see is the keyboard and the trackpad. And this piece is, like I said, completely detachable. So it comes off of the iPad, so you can use the iPad with or without the keyboard attached. You get a full-size keyboard, you get a full set of function keys, and you get a good-sized trackpad that I believe is a glass trackpad. Also inside the box, you get, of course, the case portion, and this is a full case that covers all sides of the iPad and has the built-in kickstand. And then you just get a simple quick start guide, which just says put the iPad in the case and connect the keyboard and insert the pencil. So the first thing is, if you're used to the Apple Magic Keyboard or you've checked out the Apple Magic Keyboard Folio, this is a very different texture than those devices. The Logitech cases use some kind of textile type material on the back, almost like jeans. It has a slight texture to it, and it just feels really good. And I've used these cases over the years, and they actually do a pretty good job at repelling dust and dirt and grime and oils, a much better job compared to the Magic Keyboard type material. Now, if we just kind of work our way around the iPad case here, you're gonna see on the top here, there's a loop, and this is for an Apple Pencil or even the Logitech Crayon. And there is a new version with USB-C for the new iPad as well. If you follow the side, you get the volume buttons. On top is where your home button with Touch ID will go. You have your cutouts for your speakers. And on the bottom here, this is where the keyboard is gonna actually pass straight through and connect to the iPad. Unlike the iPad Pro and Air, which has the pogo pins on the inside of the case because the pins are on the back side of the iPad, then the keyboard would connect to pogo pins on the bottom of the case. This keyboard case will actually just go right through the bottom and connect directly to the iPad because the pogo pins on the 10th generation iPad were moved to the bottom. And finally, on the right side, you have speaker cutouts and the cutout for the USB-C port. So let's just go ahead and start off by adding the iPad into the Logitech case and see how that feels. And to do that, Logitech recommends pushing it up to the top and then snapping in the bottom. So let's see how that goes. And it's a bit snug, which is good because this is a case. The whole point of the case is to protect your iPad, and it is definitely snug. Let's see if we can snap that in. Man. That's tight, real tight. I don't know if I'll be able to get it out of here. Ugh. Man. Pretty sure I know how to put cases on iPads, and this one is extremely tight. I don't know if I'll be able to get it out. So we just snap it in. Ugh. Wow, that took that took a lot of force to get that iPad into this Logitech case. It looks like you need to push it in just a little bit more to get these edges. You can still see the yellow coming out around the edges of this case. And it looks like the rubber just needs to flip over a little bit more over the edge of the iPad. It's like it's just not seating perfectly in this case, or the rubber is just very rigid and not allowing it to kind of form around the iPad. You can see this indentation right here. Well, I do have to say that this is slightly concerning because I cannot seem to get the case to fully wrap all the way around the iPad. That is weird. On the other keyboard cases, there definitely was some give around the edges, and the other Combo Touch cases allow the iPads to go in quite a bit easier than this one seems to. But let's just push it in and I guess continue on for now. All right, so that is just in there as good as it's going to get for now. So to attach the keyboard, you're going to connect the keyboard, it's going to attach magnetically to the bottom and attach to those pogo pins. So let's see how that works. Yeah, that's a nice, satisfying snap right there. It just aligns automatically and pulls it in. That's really cool. I like that. And it looks like it wants me to install the Logitech app. So let's go ahead and install that real quick. All right, so I just opened up the Logitech app and it looks like there's already a firmware update for this brand new case. And it's gonna take up to 5 to 10 minutes. So I guess I'll do it real quick and then come back when it's done. Well, after about 5 minutes, something went wrong is what the message says here on the screen. So we're not off to a great start with this new Combo Touch for 10th generation iPad. So we'll just, oh crap. All right, so after another 5 minutes, it still is not completing the update. So I don't know if I can get around that at all. Let's see if we can just get to the settings without doing an update or not. Close that. I don't want to do that. Looks like I can't do anything except a firmware update at this time. So nothing I can do with the app. Okay. All right, so we'll try out the keyboard here in just a moment, but let's check out this kickstand first. So what's nice about the Logitech case is that, and like other kickstand cases, is that you do get a good angle of adjustments with most of them. Now, this is actually going to get a bigger angle adjustment compared to the Magic Folio keyboard. And again, I'll do a video comparing them directly here shortly. But with the Logitech keyboard case, with the Combo Touch, you can actually get a pretty wide variety of angles. So if you're trying to avoid glare or just trying to put it down here to disconnect the keyboard and put it in kind of drawing mode or something like that, then you can do that. If you want to watch a movie, you can prop it up like that. Or you can set it up here and connect an Xbox controller and play Call of Duty or any other games at the perfect angle, or set the controller aside. And now because the camera is dead center on the top in landscape mode on the iPad, you can actually do a video call at the right angle, so it's not super unflattering. I mentioned the loop on the top before, and that is for the Logitech Crayon or the Apple Pencil 1st generation, which is the pencil that works with this 10th generation iPad. And it just slides in there and will hold your Apple Pencil for you, so you're not gonna lose it in a bag or carrying it around. It actually holds it pretty snugly. You should have no issues losing it in a bag or when carrying the iPad around. My daughter has not lost her Apple Pencil once since using the Combo Touch on her 9th generation iPad. Okay, so just because it was bugging me, I went ahead and took the iPad out of the case, which was not too difficult. You just peel one of the corners and then start popping the iPad out. And I went the opposite of what Logitech recommended in their documentation. And instead, I started at the bottom and I pushed the bottom in first and then snapped in on the top. And it actually fits a bit better. You can see at this corner, there's no more yellow, but the case does look a little beat up from previously trying to get it into the case. And on this side, there's still a little bit yellow, but it's better than what it was before. So these edges are just really rigid, and there's a little bit of yellow up here now, but I can push that in a little bit better. So, I mean, this case is snug. It is not going to come disconnected from your iPad. Okay, so this is a keyboard case, so let's try out the keyboard. Again, the keyboard just snaps on magnetically at the bottom, and it holds on tight. And when you close it, you actually get a nice folio type cover for your iPad, and it feels really solid. It doesn't move around very easily, so it's not going to slide around and scratch your screen potentially. And what I found is, unlike previous Logitech keyboards, you're unable to fully wrap this around and just have the keys on the back, or even connect it like so and have it sit on the back. The magnets don't line up. It just doesn't work exactly like previous Combo Touch cases did. So there is no wrapping the keyboard around the back on this version. And that is interesting. I was not expecting that. So you're really just going to be limited to having the keyboard connected regularly or not. So let's connect it. Open up the kickstand, unlock the iPad, and we are good to go. So at the top here, we have a whole set of function rows. We have the home button. We have the screen brightness, which is nice. We have this guy, which I think is, yeah, this is a key for bringing up the virtual keyboard if you need that for some reason. Then you have a screenshot button, which is nice because you have a one simple button to do a screenshot. You have the brightness for the keys themselves, and having a backlit keyboard is nice for those times that you actually need it. You don't always need it, but it's nice that it is there. You have full media controls for play, pause, forward and backwards, and you have volume up here. And the function keys are slightly different than what you will find on the Apple Magic Folio, but you do get the ones that you probably will most likely use. The keys themselves on this Combo Touch feel really good. They feel very much like the previous Combo Touches and very much like the Apple Magic Keyboard Folio, which is to say really good. They actually have a good amount of travel for what they are. They're not quite full size on this size iPad because it's just not wide enough, but they do feel comfortable and you do get used to it. If this becomes one of your primary devices to type on, you will get used to it, no problem. I mean, they really are easy to type on. This is how easy it is to type on the Combo Touch keyboard. So I don't think you'll have any issue typing with this case. Then there is the trackpad on here, and this is a good sized trackpad on this keyboard. And you can see I have the little cursor stuff turned on the mouse so that you can actually see it on here. Go ahead and lower that just a little bit. And this is a multi-touch trackpad, so very much like the Magic Keyboard. You can actually use 3 fingers to swipe up to go home, 3 fingers to swipe to go back to an app. You can scroll up and down with 2 fingers, and of course you move around like that. Now, this is a diving board style trackpad, so when you click, it's going to be easier at the bottom and it won't click at the top. So it is multi-finger, multi-touch. It is a good size or good enough size for use with an iPad, and it is diving board style. So you can't click anywhere like you can with some others, but it works exactly like you expect a trackpad to work with an iPad. It's smooth, it's quick, there's no delays, and it just feels good. So there's some things I like and some things I don't like about this Combo Touch case for the new 10th generation iPad. And some of the things I don't like might just come down to just being the very first run of this case. They literally just came out. The ridge all the way around the side just is too rigid. It's holding the iPad. The iPad is not going to go anywhere, so you can feel confident that your iPad is probably going to be protected in this case from bumps and bruises and slight drops and things like that. So you shouldn't have to worry about the iPad being protected inside this case, but the issue is just getting the iPad into this case. It's not the best feeling. It should feel a little bit better for the price point of $160. And the other issue that I don't like about this is that the Logitech app is having troubles updating this keyboard. Maybe I got a bad one. Maybe there's an issue with the firmware that they're trying to push to it that they still have to work out, but hopefully that will get resolved pretty quickly. Another thing I don't like about this version of the Logitech Combo case is that you can't flip the keyboard around. So one thing that's nice about being able to flip the keyboard around is that you can do that and not worry about leaving it someplace, right? If you want to detach the keyboard because you're reading a book or something like that, with the previous versions, you could fold it around, keep it connected, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. But you could potentially put this down on a table and end up walking away and forget to bring your keyboard with you. So that's not a great update for this version. And on to the things I do like about this case. I do love the textile material on this case. I like that. It feels good in the hand. It's got a little bit of grip. It's got a nice texture to it. It does a good job of preventing stains and other things from getting on it. It's really good. I also love the kickstand on the back of this case. It is extremely adjustable compared to some other cases on the market. So you can get really the exact angle that you're looking for. And it does work perfectly with that new camera placement on the iPad 10th generation. I do love the keyboard on this case. I do think it is a good keyboard. It feels very similar to my favorite keyboards like the Magic Keyboard, and it does have that full function row. So that is fantastic. And of course it is backlit, which you don't get with all third-party keyboards. There's no batteries in this thing, so you don't need to worry about charging it. You don't have to do anything to pair it. It just snaps on magnetically. And the trackpad is really good as well. It feels comfortable. It feels smooth. There's no delay, no lag. It just works exactly like you want a trackpad on an iPad to work. And I think that about covers it. This is the Logitech Combo Touch case for the iPad 10th generation. What do you guys think? Is this something that you're going to pick up? Let me know below. I will definitely be making a more direct comparison video comparing this to the Apple Magic Keyboard Folio. So hit subscribe and then of course the notifications if you want to be notified of that video that should be coming up shortly. If you're interested in my thoughts on this 10th generation iPad, you can check out that video right over here. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked it, and I'll see you next time.